I cannot be more excited to tell you everything I love about the Volkswagen ID.4. All electric driving, about 245 miles on a charge, 300 horsepower. It's an SUV, so it has nice high ground clearance. It seats 4 or 5 passengers. And wait, what? This is not the Volkswagen ID.4? Or is it? This, of course, is not the Volkswagen ID.4. This is the Audi Q4 e-tron, the closely related cousin to the ID.4. It shares a lot of the DNA that makes the ID.4 such a great car. You get all of that now in a luxury version with this beautiful sport back design and some really nice details on the inside that take that ID.4 experience of all electric driving, 300 horsepower, all-wheel drive, and put it in a much more luxurious SUV. There is a lot to love that the Audi Q4 e-tron shares with the Volkswagen ID.4. It starts with the battery pack, which is underneath the car. What that means is you don't have compromised passenger and cargo space. But after that, it is all Audi. So you'll see these really beautiful tail lights. There actually is a light bar here underneath the spoiler. That spoiler is a window, so you have a little added visibility, which you need. You'll see the Q4 badge here. And then the Quattro badge is over here, which means it is all-wheel drive. And then embedded into the rear bumper is the e-tron logo. So that tells you that this is electric. If you didn't have that, you wouldn't know from looking at the outside that this is an electric car at all. The size and the scale of the e-tron Q4 is actually really lovely. Now it does come in a more traditional shaped SUV, so with a square back, or as we have it here, the Sportback, which I really like and have enjoyed driving this week. On the front of the Q4 e-tron, you'll find new headlights for this design. It does have some semblance to the Sportback gas model, but not a ton. You'll find a flat front grille here with the Audi badge, and it is loaded with sensors and cameras and all the things that we need for semi-autonomous driving. There is the e-tron badge here, again, molded into that front bumper. And over here on the side, you'll see this. This is the S-Line, and that means that this is designed to be just a little sportier. One of the benefits of this being an SUV and a Sportback is cargo space. So it's Audi, everything is touch electric, very easy to use. We've got a fair amount of space back here. Now, this sloping roof line does mean that you're not going to have as much space as you might, but I'll show you a little secret here, and that is underneath the cargo floor, there's actually more space. You can move this panel lower if you'd like even more space, and then there are panels that come out to give you even a little more customization of your space there and then there. So you can actually add even more contiguous space there if you would like to. It's nice how Audi has been able to customize this space. This also is a great place to leave this guy, which is your travel charger. Our recommendation is have one at home that stays at home. Use the public charging stations if you need to. But if you find yourself someplace where you don't have a public charger, then you'll have this guy in your trunk and able to charge when you need it. This is a converter for, this is the standard. So this, does this look familiar? Does this look familiar? It should. This is what a standard household dryer outlet looks like. And that is what this is. And you can actually install a dryer outlet in your garage and use this to charge your car. It's called Level 2, and it will charge it much faster. But if you don't have that, then you can use this, which is, I'll take this off and show you, a standard 3-prong household outlet. So this is what you probably have on your computer. You probably have this on your microwave. And that means it will charge. It will charge a lot slower, but it will still charge. But you do have that option. It was very nice of Audi to give you both You don't always get that. Usually you get the 110 or the standard household outlet, but you don't always get both. So that was nice of Audi to include that. And then this is the part that goes into the car. So you are able to, and this is a level 2 only. The only way to charge with a level 3 is to go to a level 3 DC fast charging station, and those are only public, and that's the only way to get that. But you can use this to charge at home or use your friend's dryer and you're able to charge much faster, which is very convenient. There is a cargo cover here that you can take off. That's very easy to remove if you need it. And I love that. All you have to do is push the button to close the lift gate. Another similar detail that I love between the Q4 e-tron and the ID4 is this. You just get in the car, you put on your seatbelt because it won't do this unless you have your seatbelt on. You put it in gear and you drive. Like that. I didn't really do anything other than put on my seatbelt and put it in gear. Boom, that is it. That's all you have to do. And that is a really nice feature. There is a stop-start button here. You don't ever really have to use it. In fact, when I take off my seatbelt, it goes, well, I had it in park, and I open the door, everything shuts off. If I get out and I walk away, the car turns everything off. Now, if you did need to, say, run the electronics, run the headlights or something like that, while the key is in the car or in your pocket and you have walked away and it would normally lock, all you do is, without touching the brake, tap the start button twice and all your electronics come on. Don't leave them on too long though, because it will drain your battery and then you're not going anywhere. But that's a nice feature, the automatic on and off without you having to really do much, and then to be able to turn on the electronics if you want to by double tapping the start button. Inside the Audi Q4 e-tron is pretty much all Audi. They have outfitted it with the things you expect from Audi, like really beautiful leather interior and some great modern features and high technology. It starts with this dashboard that is these geometric shapes. So the steering wheel is flat on the top and on the bottom. I can't tell you how much I like the steering wheel. I would take it home with me if I could. It is just a delight to hold. It actually fits in your hand really nice. I really like this. The panels here for adaptive cruise and driver assist features and for entertainment features is dark, and when you turn the car on, it'll light. So then you'll see these functions when the car is turned on. There are paddle shifters here for regenerative braking, which you may or may not really need. I didn't really use them much during my test drive. And then you'll notice the geometric shapes here, but also here and on the air vents, the angled driver multimedia screen, and even these air vents and this part of the dashboard. It all has this modern geometric look and feel to it, and I really like that a lot. Even though it has this geometry, it still feels very clean and neat, and that is because most of the functions are here in the multimedia screen. There are hot buttons here for climate, which is nice. The Audi Q4 e-tron has this floating center console that looks super simple until you turn on the power. So tap the brake pedal and all of a sudden you'll see drive mode select lights up, traction control lights up, your driver assist systems are here, your camera views are here, stop start, gear selector, and here is the volume control, and you can actually even change stations or turn on or off the radio using this button. Hear that? And here are your driver assist systems, so you have a quick access to that. And there is the rear view camera. All very quick and very accessible, but you don't see it until you put your foot on the brake or turn on the car. Underneath this cantilevered command center or floating console, there's a nice space. So there is room for a smaller phone or some other stuff down here. There are 2 USB ports and a 12 volt adapter style power outlet there. And then there is a wireless charge pad. Your phone actually fits behind this little clip, and it charges. The charging notification will actually come on the screen when you've put your phone in there and it's charging. There are cup holders here. There's room for my coffee, room for my water bottle. This is all nice and open. I like how open this is. And then underneath here in the armrest, there is a cubby that holds a little bit of stuff, not a ton, it's not very big, but that's okay. That's where you just want to leave like your hand sanitizer, a little emergency kit, and that kind of thing. You don't really want to spend a lot of time going in there and digging around in there. That's not great. Things that you need right at your hand, right at your fingertips, you can leave down here. I love the design of this car. I also love this. Now I do have to turn the car on to do this. The sunscreen over the panoramic sunroof, all you do is swipe your finger like that, and you swipe it on the right side to open the sunscreen and the left side to actually open the sunroof. And that's what that looks like. And I'm going to close it because I don't need it open today. For $2,200 more, you can get the Audi Virtual Cockpit Plus. So that gives you a full navigation, satellite navigation image here, full screen satellite navigation here, and digital screens that allow you to customize things however you would like. It's a great feature and it looks good. It has a really modern feel. Audi came out with this a few years ago and they haven't really changed it a whole lot. And that makes it feel like this is a really good option to have for $2,200, especially if you really like to get where you're going and see very clearly where it is you're going. You can pinch and zoom on your images. You can see, you can see the whole driveway. You can see the air conditioning units on the rooftops, the whole thing. And it gives you this. Hey, Audi. It says, what can I do for you? Please set the cabin temperature to 74 degrees.
I am increasing the temperature to 74 degrees Fahrenheit.
The Audi Voice Assist system is great because you can ask for the things that you want and need while you're driving without taking your eyes off the road. One thing that I do like about the size of this car is the size of the rear seat. So it is an SUV. It is larger because of the battery pack. It actually has a nice flat floor here, and it has, I'll show you, a nice flat floor here so you could put a handbag. It has a fair amount of leg room. So for this relatively small SUV, I have a lot of room. So my seat, except for my driving position, I'm 5'8", and you can see I have a lot of leg room here, and I actually have a fair amount of headroom as well. So I like that. I also want you to notice this. See how this door panel is cut out here? The door opening is cut out there. That is going to make this a little bit easier for installing a child passenger car seat. Now, I will say the doors don't open to a full 90 degrees. They open more to about an 80-degree level. So you're going to have to come in at an angle with a car seat. I really love the interior lighting in the Q4 e-tron. Audi does a nice job with that. So you get things that light up that give you that function here on the steering wheel, here in the multimedia system, and even this nice strip of ambient lighting that you can change the color. And then when you're out in the light, it fades to just what it is that you need to see, not overwhelming, but also not super light. So it's still, everything's still very easy to see. I love the shape of this steering wheel. It feels so good. You really feel so much more in control. It fits nicely in the curve of your hands here and the curve of your hands here. It feels nice in your palm there. And then when you've turned the steering wheel and you grab the flat part, it feels good. It's novel, it feels different, but I really like it a lot. There are multiple drive modes available on the Q4 e-tron. So to get to those drive modes, you actually have to touch this little button down here. You can go to individual, efficiency, comfort, auto, or dynamic. Dynamic is sport mode, and that's where you're going to get the least amount of regenerative braking because you're going to get all the power there. So, and it does give you very instantaneous acceleration, which is One of the things that we love about electric cars and about this larger motor, it's actually two motors, there's one in the front and one in the rear. That's what gives you the 300 horsepower. There's about 200 up front and about 100 in the back, and that's where you get that 300 horsepower. But when it comes to merging onto the highway, all you do is, there you go. And it's nice. Now it does take a little time to get all the way up to that max speed, but it's pretty effortless and it feels really good and quiet. It's quiet. If driving in sport mode and using up all that battery charge just to have a little fun is not the thing for you, you can tap this into efficiency mode, and then you can do this. You can pop it down into B mode. And B mode, which you will see here on your driver information screen, is where you're going to get your maximum efficiency. So think of B as battery, or really what it stands for is braking, and that's because it gives you regenerative braking while you're driving. So if you would like to only use the regen braking occasionally and when you want to, you can pull this paddle shifter here on the left side, and that will set your level of regen braking. So that's going to work like this. So I have it in D mode, drive mode, which is the standard mode. And then I'm going to pull the paddle once for low, second for lower, and third for even lower. And that basically brakes the car. It you know, B-R-A-K-E, brakes the car without touching the brake pedal. Now I do need to touch the brake pedal to come to a full stop. This is not one pedal driving, and that's okay. Not everybody likes or wants one pedal driving. That's something that some electric cars have made a priority as a part of the experience, and others like the Audi and the Volkswagen that make one pedal driving an almost thing but not a complete thing. Now I will say during my test drive I really appreciated having the car in B mode all the time, which is the max regen braking. You can't really get better than that. And that is where you're going to have the best opportunity to get the most out of your regen braking. But I have really preferred driving in B mode during most of my test drives. So I put it in B mode, which is just a double tap just like that. And you are in the max regen braking mode, which is what's going to give you the most mileage out of a charge. So you have a full charge, you're going to use it as frugally as possible when you're in B mode. You don't really need to spend a lot of time braking. Once you take your foot off the accelerator, the car will slow for you and will come almost all the way to a stop. You'll get to the point where you can actually gauge when you need to tap the brake and when you can just roll to a stop, even in traffic, at a traffic light, at a stop sign, things like that. The minimal amount of acceleration you use, the more you're lifting your foot off the accelerator, the more you're going to be channeling unused energy back into that battery and getting even more miles out of a charge. But I think the thing that I like the most about driving the Q4 e-tron is how effortless it is. It's easy to steer, it's easy to command, it's easy to drive. With electric driving, it's quiet. It's just a delightful car to be in, and effortless is the word that I would give it. I really love how quiet this car is. I love the passenger space. The rear seat is surprisingly large. The rear cargo compartment is surprisingly large. And when you have it in sport mode, or dynamic as Audi calls it, you tap the accelerator and you go. There is no hesitation. It does take you a little time to get up to speed. I will say it's not, you're not taking off like a bullet like you do in some cars, but the acceleration is good, the power is good, and the feeling is really nice. Should we try it one more time? Let's try it one more time. Woo! And there we go. So I'm not going to go over the speed limit. Really? Not really. But I do get up to speed very quickly, and it's nice. It feels good. Now, the big difference between, and I will say I'm in B mode, so let's put it in dynamic and drop down a little bit. In D mode, Dynamic is definitely faster. You get up to speed a little bit faster, but it's still fast even in B mode, which is a little surprising. B mode is for efficiency. What that means is really when you take your foot off the accelerator, even in dynamic, you're putting even more power back into the battery. You've created a lot, and then you're going to put it right back, and it will slow the car even much more quickly than it might if you were in D mode. So B mode, dynamic, you can do both, which is a pretty nice thing. I definitely enjoyed spending my week in the Audi Q4 e-tron. I was looking forward to driving this. 245 miles of range, 300 horsepower, all-wheel drive. It's an SUV, it's a sportback, it looks really good. And this is Audi's entry-level electric, so it's a few $1,000s more than the traditional looking SUV Q4 e-tron. And inside, for the $52,000 starting price and ours fully loaded at about $61,000, super nicely equipped. The price is about what you would expect to pay for an SUV of this size with this much luxury, so I feel like the pricing is right on point. And I hope that you get to take a test drive and learn and enjoy what all-electric driving is all about. Audi definitely gives you a great feel for that.